Meghan Markle is still trying to convince people that she's a good cook and that she knows what she's talking about. But no one's going to believe it if she can't even name one meal that she cooks her family. She just tried to rebrand herself as a culinary expert on Masterchef Australia. But instead of proving that she belongs in the kitchen, she may just have proved how difficult she is to work with. While her PR team is working overtime to push the narrative that she was a delight. Insiders are leaking that she was actually one of the most demanding guests the show has ever seen, even leaving one of the most beloved judges visibly upset. When you combine that with a bizarre, performative FaceTime call with Prince Harry, it was so cringe, and her failure to just answer normal questions or do or say anything normally, you have a masterclass in how not to do a guest appearance. So on the 26th of July, MasterChef Australia released the episode that was filmed back in April while Meghan and Harry were on one of their publicized vacations. She tasked the contestants with creating a dish fit for a duchess, please no, using ingredients like strawberries and carrots. It's obvious. She's desperate to form some degree of direction for her public image. Nobody's taking any of it seriously. With Love, Meghan was an absolute embarrassment, and it's clear that this was a PR move to establish herself as a culinary and lifestyle authority, likely to bolster her brand as ever and try to get the With Love, Meghan series picked back up, even if it's by someone else. Anyone, she'll take anybody. Somebody just please pick up the show. That's what this feels like. It feels desperate. It feels like an attempt at see, I do know what I'm doing in the kitchen. Everybody's saying that in With Love, Meghan, I couldn't cut an onion, which was true. She couldn't mince garlic. She couldn't cut an onion. She chose a paring knife for everything. This feels like one big failed attempt at a clapback. Now, although one former producer made a TikTok video, weird way to put out a statement about something, doesn't feel very official, does it? Claiming that Meghan was just a normal human, which, isn't exactly saying she was perfectly fine and we all had a great time working with her. It's saying, she is a human. She was just a human on the show. She was a normal human on the show. She wasn't exceptional. She wasn't tragic. She was just a normal human. And normal people are irritating sometimes. That's kind of what that felt like. But anyway, other insiders, the majority of leaks that have come out, are telling a very different story. Reports that cast and crew were left exhausted by her day on set, that she was the most demanding guest, have started coming out. Insiders claimed that she had an extensive list of requests and expected the entire production to revolve around her and her schedule. It seems like this pattern happens all the time with Meghan, and when we zoom out and we look at it objectively, it's not just that Meghan shows up places and rubs people wrong. It seems that there is already a shaky vibe, like an walking on eggshells type of vibe, before Meghan even sets foot in the room. And in a situation like this is a televised guest appearance, right? This is something that Meghan has done before. As an ex-actor, she should know how to integrate onto a set. Instead, these reports suggest that she established an icy and controlling environment before the cameras even rolled. When a guest arrives demanding special treatment rather than embracing a teamwork mentality, it completely ruins the chemistry of the set and the vibe for the day. And what I think happens is that she sends one of her staff to, communicate all sorts of special treatment and demands. And she probably has a long list of things on her sheet of I want this in my room and I want this and that and the other thing and I have to do this. All these requirements that by the time she actually shows up, everybody is already feeling confused and offended even and annoyed by all of her demands and her extraness, that everybody's tolerance is already low. And then we know Meghan is socially awkward a lot of the time. She touches people weird when they're not they don't have any rapport with her. She gets really close to people who aren't welcoming her back. She speaks in a haughty, snooty manner. She looks down her nose at people. She talks about herself endlessly. Like, we know all of these things. She's awkward. And on top of it, in this environment, she's not known as somebody who knows what they're talking about with food and with cooking and things like that. She's coming off the heels of a canceled cooking and lifestyle show and has a brand that's struggling. I mean, in this environment, she should have showed up with more of a "I'm happy to be here" type of vibe than a "I know what I'm talking about and everybody should revolve around me" type of vibe. And it sounds like that's exactly what she did. But I think Meghan thinks that if she sends a staff member to like file away all of her requests and demands and talk to people about everything before she even gets there, that then she's insulated from that and that people will just be warm and welcoming to her and treat her like that never just happened. But the reality is that when someone is coming on behalf of Meghan, then people are going to be blaming Meghan for all of that nonsense. It doesn't get just erased from Meghan's history because it was her assistant telling them that she was going to need all these special accommodations. It seems increasingly evident that that is the pattern that's happening behind the scenes on these appearances and these outings that Meghan has been doing. But when the show actually was going on and what was aired to the public exposed a very awkward dynamic for Meghan Markle with not only the judges, but the cooks as well, the chefs as well. Like, the whole thing was a bit awkward and strange. I mean, that's expected with Meghan Markle, but on a show like Masterchef, it's actually a little bit weird because it's such a long-running show. It's in multiple countries have their own Masterchef. Like, it's a staple, okay, for cooking shows and cooking competitions. Masterchef is great. And it's one of many very popular, long-running, very, very successful shows and formats. So for Meghan to have such an awkward time is an anomaly. We've seen countless guests and guest judges and people on these shows not have such a rough time. But Meghan's demeanor on camera felt incredibly performative. As we know, she's not a good actress. So when she tries to do these types of things and seem like she's, just off the top of her head, spontaneous comments and things like that, it always comes off as bad acting. And that same thing is very, very true here. Instead of being a natural guest, it felt like she was stepping into a character, trying to perfectly balance Meghan the Duchess and Meghan the lifestyle figure, resulting in an inauthentic presentation of somebody who wanted to be considered more knowledgeable in cooking than she really was. And a lot of her exchanges between her and the other people on the show were very bizarre. She fumbled countless times. Most of the time, an actor can fake warmth at least sort of okay, enough to get by on talk shows and things like that. But the coldness that was evident from this MasterChef appearance pointed to genuine discomfort or displeasure on set between the people. Whether that was from Meghan only or from everybody towards each other, it was coming through on camera. And Meghan couldn't even list something that she cooked for her family. How ridiculous is that? At a certain moment, one of the judges, Jean-Christophe, asked a very basic question. What is your favorite dish to cook for your family? What did Meghan say? She completely dodged the question and said that it was tough because she has a lot of palates to appease. Please. Eventually, she just listed generic ingredients. She said grilled fish, grilled meats, lots of citrus. Okay. Instead of naming an actual dish, okay? Obviously, the audience was baffled that a woman launching a lifestyle brand and appearing on a cooking show couldn't name a single dish that she cooks for her children. It feeds into the narrative that she relies on private chefs and nannies and that she actually doesn't cook at all, which is painfully clear if you watch With Love Meghan, which I sadly did so that I could review it for you guys. I'll link the playlist for you and you could go episode by episode if you want. But one of the things that was like a major red flag for me in one of the first episodes was the way she made cutout sandwiches. She took the cookie cutter. She cut out the slices of bread. So then she had bread pieces in the shape of stars or, something. I don't know what it was. maybe stars. I think it was stars. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 2 pieces of bread in cutout shapes. And then she sloppily tried to put spread and cucumbers, and they were all spilling out over the edges. That is not how you make a cutout sandwich. You build the cutout sandwich completely so it's done like a normal sandwich. Then you do the cutting out of the sandwich all together, and then it stays together and it looks clean and cute and perfect, and it's not a disgusting mess. Meghan did it wrong, okay? And if she can't even do cutout sandwiches right, then I doubt she cooks anything at all, okay? For real. And then you have the cutting, okay? She chose a paring knife for everything. She can't mince garlic. She can't cut an onion properly. All right, this lady makes crudité and charcuterie boards and thinks that she knows how to cook. So I cook for my family daily, every single day, usually multiple meals per day. And I don't love to cook. I enjoy baking. I've always enjoyed baking. Cooking, I've always wanted to be better at it, and I like it. But it's not like my favorite thing. I wouldn't choose cooking, but I would choose baking, if that makes sense. But over the years, I've had to cook so much that I've gotten a lot better at it. So it's more fun now than it used to be. I have more fun. And there's certain recipes that I do think are fun. So if somebody asked me what's my favorite thing to cook for my family, I would have 3 or 4 things immediately that I would say. I love cooking them homemade baked macaroni and cheese because they love it so much. It's such a comfort food. It's so much fun. I enjoy baking Southern biscuits because it's a really fun process and everybody loves them. They're so delicious. And I like cooking Italian. I really enjoy cooking Italian. I think it's so much fun. And you get the sauces going for a long time and they're just simmering away on the stove. I really, really enjoy making those things for my family. I would be able to spew off and talk forever about the specific recipes and how I've tweaked them and how they're fun to make and why they're fun to make. I recently got a new pot for meat sauce. Love it. So much fun to cook in that. Love cooking in that. Or soups. Soups are fun to make because they're simmering away for a long time and then they're delicious and have so much depth of flavor. You know, it's not that hard to come up with what you enjoy making for your family. And yet Meghan refuses to answer the question. The only reason could possibly be because she doesn't actually do it, okay? Because it doesn't make any sense. But let's circle back for a moment at Meghan's assertion that it's hard to choose her favorite dish to cook for her family because she's trying to please a lot of palates. Absolutely not. No, the handful of dishes that do please everybody's palate would be what she immediately thinks of. Is oh, these are the ones that everybody will eat. So that is further proof that she probably doesn't do any cooking. And she probably does rely on a private chef to make different meals for different people in the household for the same dinner. Like a kid's meal and then a parent's meal. And they're separate things, because this is so hard to believe that she just has nothing come to mind at all because they have different tastes in food. Are you joking? That is insane. So yet another thing that makes it hard to believe that she just couldn't think of something. No, she just doesn't have anything. She hasn't found any recipes that everybody likes because she's not trying. She's not cooking. Mid-judging, Meghan did a FaceTime call with Prince Harry. This was stupid. This was seriously the dumbest shit she could have possibly done. A producer miraculously handed her a phone right as they were tasting dishes, and Harry asked, "Have I interrupted something important? Could you be more dumb?" Okay, this was just dumb. Nobody believes this is spontaneous. Nobody's buying it. So why do it? It's cringe as all get out. Furthermore, Meghan is the one trying to sell herself as a foodie. Harry is admittedly not at all. He doesn't even like a wide variety of foods. He's kind of picky, apparently, according to Meghan. He doesn't like cinnamon. He doesn't like shellfish. He doesn't like all these things. He doesn't eat spicy food, blah, blah, blah. So what is Harry even doing involved in this Masterchef spot? I think it was part of a contractual obligation to land Meghan the guest judging appearance on the show was under one condition, that Prince Harry is involved somehow, either stopping by for a cameo to say hello or a FaceTime. And that's what I think happened, because there's no other good reason for it. It was so cringe. It was so silly. And from a PR perspective, it's just a mistake. Okay? If Meghan is trying to establish herself as an independent lifestyle guru and foodie, dragging Harry, who is not a foodie, into her moment undercuts her authority and distracts from her presence there. It reminds the audience that Meghan is not here on her own merits. She's here because of who she married. She's not here guest judging Masterchef because people actually think she's good at cooking or knows what she's talking about with cooking. No, she's there because of Harry. And that's why they had to throw in this stupid phone call. It was so embarrassing. Oh my God. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this was a contractual obligation to secure her booking? Or do you think that she's just relying on her marriage rather than her own skills for publicity and cachet? What do you think? Because I think that she can't stand on her own 2 feet in this arena, and she knows it. She's got imposter syndrome in the kitchen and amongst the Masterchef crew, and so she pulled this out of the hat to try to land the gig. That's what I think, but I'd like to know what you think in the comments section. So let's get down to the biggest question here. Does Meghan Markle actually have the culinary expertise to be a valuable guest judge to Masterchef? Absolutely not. Clearly, no, she does not. The standard caliber of guest judges on the show usually includes world-renowned chefs, not just celebrities. This isn't the same as like Chopped, where sometimes they bring on a celebrity or somebody random, or some other shows where maybe they have a guest judge that's somebody who's not involved in the cooking industry, is not a culinary expert or reviewer or, food critic or anything. No, just some random celebrities. This is not a show like that. On MasterChef, they usually have people like Jamie Oliver, Rick Stein, Nigella Lawson. These are the types of people who are usually guest judges on MasterChef. So Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand and failed show does not equate to professional culinary knowledge. She didn't even have the expertise to judge this show adequately. Not at all. She delivered no value here. And she has been widely mocked countless times since she started the With Love Meghan project and went back onto Instagram with how she handles food. She touches food like she never handles it for cooking purposes ever. It's insane. She lacks basic knowledge of how to cook or prep food or even store food safely in the refrigerator. Okay? And so that, to me, exposes this as a PR stunt that MasterChef agreed to on the condition that Prince Harry did a cameo. That's what I think and how this whole thing transpired. But what do you guys think? This appearance definitely felt more like a calculated, albeit clumsy, PR exercise than a genuine display of culinary passion. The awkward on-screen dynamics, the reliance on her husband's star power, and the reports of behind-the-scenes diva demands highlight the cracks in her lifestyle guru persona. But what did you guys think of her MasterChef appearance? Do you think the Harry phone call was staged? It almost certainly was. And do you buy the reports that she was a nightmare on set? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and I will see you very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a happy day ahead. Bye.